Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ladies of Mycology podcast. I'm Jen, and this is Chris. And this is our episode number 3. And today we're going to talk about some kind of mixed feelings on things that we're seeing online, along with some other things that pop up. So before we get into that, it's Chris's favorite day. What day is it, Chris?
It's bicycle day. No, it's Monday podcast day.
And also it's 420.
Oh, right. See, that shows where I'm at right now. It's 420. We legalized in 2018 and it changed my life. Made me broke. No, I'm just
Excited about 420. I do not partake. It does not like me. I'm over it. But
I use
most of you.
I use cannabis for a lot of things. I don't just use it as I also use it as medicine. I have it in a lot of my creams. I grow CBDs for night for sleep and all that fun stuff, and it's so good for the skin. So we're talking, happy 420. It's also, CBD related. We need our, it's good medicine. It's good medicine. So happy 420, everyone.
I do use the CBD creams.
They're nice.
They are. There's we get some that it's got camphor in it. It must be because it smells like cloves.
Oh yeah.
For muscle aches, and that stuff is fabulous. Like I was super surprised when I put that on, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, nothing's hurting." That's new.
Oh,
but that's the extent of
it. I might have to
tried it for what now?
I said I might have to add some cloves into my spring mix this year.
Oh, there you go.
It's almost that season.
The foraging mixing season.
You got it. That's when all the herbs start coming. Looking forward to the poplar buds. They'll be ready probably next week, maybe, if we get some warm weather. It's also time to chop trees for us if anybody's, interested in that. I might do a little something over at LOM on that. Yeah. Tapping the trees.
Oh. Yeah, our neighbor has he's been doing maple already, and he's already boiled it off, and whatever he had that he left is already getting sketchy. So like our maple season just came and went.
It's over. Yeah, it doesn't last very long. I actually do box elders over here. They're Manitoba maples, they're called, but it makes an amazing syrup. Amazing. So I've literally got a couple days and we'll be able to tap, and then it'll be done. It'll be over. Once the poplar buds are definitely going, it's done. So
yeah, they're pretty quick.
I tend to just literally drink it out of the tree, though. Doesn't get a chance to get to syrup. I think I got 1 ounce once.
There you go.
It's tasty. It's got good medicine.
Birch water is supposed to be pretty good too.
Yes, I haven't done the birch yet because I don't I might have 1 tree left on my property, but most of them were taken out by the windstorm. They're not very long growers, so it don't last very long. Didn't get a chance to inoculate it with chaga even, so it's kind of disappointing. But it is what it is. So, yeah, this is round 3. I'm just going to tell y'all, I had a bit of a meltdown. I'm not sure how this reacts, and Jen calmed me down again. So everybody thank Jen for being such a wonderful human, being able to put up with my ass in the morning.
Which is hilarious because I'm a shit cheerleader.
Oh, gosh. It's like,
I'm getting better, but it's not my forte at all.
Yeah, like I'm
Oh,
used to hiding behind my phone. Never mind, you got me on a laptop now. So it's a big deal for us. So we're here today just for our community because we love you.
yeah, getting getting it done one
Get
push at a time,
one
and we're
push at
learning things as well. Like we're not experts in all of the things by any stretch of the imagination. Um, we have experience in some things, and we have experience teaching in some things. But the world of mushrooms and psychedelics and everything is pretty vast. Like for me personally, I didn't get into anything really until 2020. And then from there, it was just cultivating my own stuff and learning that way. But I was very, very hidden. I don't know, some of you that have been out in the mycology community for a long time, if you weren't originally in Ladies of Mycology, you probably have no idea who I am by design. Like I stayed out of all of the communities. There's a couple that I would pop up in, but for the most part, not so much. I was just, doing my own thing, helping my ladies out, and that was it. So I don't know a lot of things, and I didn't pay attention to a lot of the things. And here's one of the things that I didn't know. Yesterday was bicycle day, right? Like
usually.
I've actually heard this term before, and I seen it once, but it wasn't. It did not get latched into the memory banks at all.
So, one quick comment on that. Usually on Facebook over the years, I would have known it was Bicycle Day because it would show up on my feed. But this year, of all years, it didn't show
Mm,
up on my feed until like 7 p.m. last night. And by then, I'd already done all our little stuff. So I couldn't even push that, you
right?
know?
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, wouldn't you think with what's going on down south right now that it would have been right across the feed on my Facebook about the
Oh,
bicycle day, psychedelics being in, fast tracked for 50 million being fast tracked into um, like, sorry, I'm kind of lost for words here because Facebook wasn't pushing it and neither was the community. But I guess the community's been shut down so bad.
yeah, you don't see it. Like my High Fae account on Facebook, that's where I found it. Because that one there, I friended people. I'm on Maps. I'm following Maps Canada. I'm following all of the different things. Like I created it so that I could join all the different communities. But then it was such a new account. When I tried to join communities, it told me to piss off because that was a new account and it thought like I was a scammer or something. So now it's been just sitting in the background for a while now. But I popped into there just to see, and that's where I saw this. So this
I
this is one of
follow
the
all that.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Sorry.
one was actually Terrence McKenna posted it, and it's
Okay.
very long, and I'm not going to read it, but I'll read the other one because it's shorter. It said, Happy Bicycle Day. 83 years ago, Albert Hoffman, a Swiss chemist for the Swiss laboratory Sandoz, rode home on his bicycle after ingesting 250 milligrams of LSD 25. He had first synthesized this compound 5 years earlier. This day commemorates the world's first intentional LSD experience. Thank you, Albert. So that is very cool. Like, this is the first time he had created it or synthesized it, I guess, a couple of years earlier, but this is the first time he took a bunch and hopped on his bike and was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, I haven't done that in many, many moons. Many moons. Um,
Mm,
but
yeah,
not
well,
saying,
and you probably didn't at the time either. In up here, if it was anything like around here, that wasn't what you were getting when you thought that's what you were getting.
yeah, I don't know. It's something I did when I was very, very young. And somebody had actually mentioned that microdosing is good for depression. when I was battling my
Yeah.
depression, and I tried to get a hold of some, and I couldn't. Um,
Mm.
but I have since, and I'm not sure where it is, which probably isn't great. I should probably try looking for it, but yeah, if it's meant to be. I find, the mushrooms are really did change my depression brain, so I'm very grateful
Yeah.
to them for that.
Yeah. That's a huge deal.
Yeah, it was a huge deal, and it snuck up on me. It's not something that happened overnight. It was just all of a sudden I
Mm.
started feeling a little bit better. And you know what? If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be on here right now. I wouldn't be doing
And
these things. So
I
I'm grateful.
remember and on our last episode, we talked about how there's things that you wouldn't talk about in mixed company, but I would because I have no shame and I don't
Yes. Yeah.
taste the day. So,
Uh-oh. No.
um, okay, so I know that I've told this story inside of Ladies of Mycology, um, about how I ended up being medicated for depression and anxiety, and why I believe I was over medicated for something I didn't need to be medicated on, which was then led into a 10-year battle with these medications. So we shall rewind back to my late 20s. I had a lot of pain, and after going to the doctor to say that I was having abdominal pain, and I'm sure many, many women are going to resonate with what I'm about to talk about. So I go into my family doctor and I'm complaining about abdominal pain as a 29-year-old woman. And I don't even recall that he did any sort of proper exam. And he's like, oh, well, it must be depression. Take these pills. So I was prescribed Effexor, which in my mind is one of the worst things on the planet. And anytime I hear that somebody's been prescribed that, like I die a little inside. So I was started off on the, 37.5 milligrams is what they start you off on. And I'm like, okay, how are these going to help my stomach pain? Uh, and I didn't like them. Any of you that get put on these medication know that there's something, it changes how you think of things. And all of a sudden I started having these weird thoughts. And it was freaking me out because never in my 29 years had I ever had those thoughts. So I went back to the doctor and I was like, okay, I'm having these bad thoughts and it's freaking me out. I don't like it. So he doubled the prescription. So now I'm on 75, which amplified everything. Okay, now everything's worse. I'm having these thoughts even more, like they're wigging me out. I'm searching them. I'm calling the suicide hotline. I'm, trying to reach out to anybody. I even reached out to the mental health center in the city. And the woman on the phone, here I am, I'm taking a break from work. I should be up on the computer doing things, but I am sitting in the stairway of my office building, like crying and wigging out and trying to find help any way I could. So I'm like, okay, we'll try the mental health center. That's kind of what they're for, I thought. And the woman was so rude. What do you want? I'm like, I don't know. Like, something's
Yeah.
wrong. Help me. And she was such a cow that I was like, well, obviously I'm not going to go to this place for help if this is, I'm in crisis right now and this is how you're speaking to me. So things got ugly. Some bathtub stuff happened that needed to be cleaned up. I stopped it on my own. put everything back together, fixed it on my own, freaked the boyfriend out, mind you. Couple days later, I'm like freaking out. So we go to the ER. I'm telling them, I'm having these thoughts. I'm doing these things. I'm able to still have the self-control to stop myself at this point, but something's freaking wrong. Like, I need help. What's going on? So they send me to see the guy who, I mean, words would be nice if I had words. The head shrink, anyways, at the hospital. And he doubles the meds again. So now I'm on 150 milligrams.
Oh my God.
Sends me home. Yeah. So I made another attempt that I had the good sense to stop, but it turns out I didn't stop quick enough. So I was just sitting there minding my business, doing like circle the crosswords or whatever in my book. And my boyfriend came home and I was in the basement. He called to me and I stood up to yell back to him and I hit the deck. Like, I didn't have anything in me to stand up and to yell. So when he came downstairs and saw what was going on, he freaked out, picked me up, threw me in the car, back to the ER. There, I think they told me I was missing half of my volume of, some pretty important fluids. Try not to trigger things. But apparently, even when I'm like half not really there, I'm still a smart ass. Because I said something to the doctor and he freaked out. This is funny. I'm like, well, no, but you said something and I had to respond. I used to know that off by heart what I said too. Now I forget. Freaking perimenopause, I tell you.
Yeah, that's
anyways
story. Yeah.
Whole other game. So all of this, like, this sounds like a very long journey of hell, right? This whole thing and this doubling my medication multiple times and me ending up in the hospital in that situation, 2 weeks.
Wow.
From the time I went in to say that I had a pain in my stomach to that happening, 2 weeks. And I was in the ER 3 times. I called different helplines a couple times, like, just nothing. Nobody was helpful whatsoever. So then I ended up, they brought me up to the psychiatry ward and I had to stay there, and I don't even remember what I was doing there for the most part, but the psychiatrist that I spoke to up there was a woman, and I told her exactly what happened. And within a couple of days, she sent in a gynecologist who did an exam and confirmed that I had endometriosis.
Mm-hmm.
All of that because I've had endometriosis and nobody checked.
Yeah.
And from then it took me a decade, more than a decade, on these medications because you can't just stop them. Like, once you're on them, they're in your brain and they mess everything up. So then, me trying to get off the anxiety meds and trying to switch to different medications and, back and forth. I'm sure a lot of you have done that journey. It's a nightmare. And it wasn't until I found the mushrooms and they allowed me to slowly come off of my antidepressants by using microdoses. And ever since, like, it's just amazing. I'm off all medications. I was, and then I hurt my back. So now I'm on some back nerve thing, but every other medication. I was on sleeping pills for a decade as well. I'm off all of it, and I am loads better emotionally than I ever was on them. Like, I feel like I'm a human again. And it's so infuriating that so many people run into those similar things that get them on those medications in the first place that they don't need to be on, and that we can't legalize these things to help the people that need the help, because, like you said, it changed your life as well.
Absolutely, 100%. And also I'm not going to get into my story this time. We'll
Mhm.
save that for another time. I thank you for sharing that. I know it's not easy talking about this stuff, but this has happened to a lot of us women, unfortunately. One of the things that I've heard about your medication is they're giving it to women that are grieving their loss of husbands, or partners, wives and stuff. And they're putting these 70, 80-year-old women on these pills. Um,
300 grams, no less, of
yeah,
that specific one because, a friend of mine lost her husband and she was sad.
yeah,
Of course she was sad. She lost her husband.
yeah. I have three friends that are also a little bit older than me. And now trying to come off it themselves. So it's not an easy thing to do. I'm not saying mushrooms were the full answer. I had to do some work. I'm still always doing work. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
but the microdosing, like, if you're talking heroic doses and stuff, you don't really need that. You can do that. That's a different aspect of using the medicine. But just, a little bit at a time has really done wonders for
Hmm.
people. Um,
Makes a huge difference.
it
Yeah, and
does.
I'm I'm glad that we're seeing some stuff in the news that maybe there's studies and things happening, but then again, oh my God.
Who's going to do
So,
where? Yeah.
do you want to kick that one off or shall
No,
I?
not really. So we know that President Trump down south has signed an executive order for $50 million to go into psychedelic research. It was fast tracked, and he had Joe Rogan and who else? RFK behind him.
Okay.
I'm seeing all over Facebook some different responses to it. So
It
I
it's
don't
one of
know.
those it's
Like, it's great that it's getting some press because we know that it helps people. We know it's helping our veterans and stuff. Um, but I kind of just wish they'd left mushrooms out of it.
they did though. I don't even know that they talked
Oh,
about mushrooms. They're
it's
talking
in there.
about is it in there too? Like
It's
the
in there
fact that
too.
for those of you who haven't seen it yet, um, he signed an executive order, as Chris said, to fast track funding into psychedelic research. And if you watch the video, that's him signing this order. He's got Joe Rogan behind him talking about how this came to be. And it was because Joe went on went on his phone and texted the president and was like, hey, this Ibogaine stuff is really good for PTSD and veterans and stuff. And Trump's like, what do you want? You need FDA approval? You know, rubber stamp. And that's kind of the conversation. There may be more to it, but not according to what they said from the Oval Office. So we know that Joe really he backs Ibogaine because he's seen it work. Um, but it's one of those things where it's like, yay, on the one hand, because now it's in the news and people maybe that didn't really understand psychedelics in a medicine sort of way will do some deep dives on the internet and maybe learn a bit more and not be so quick to push back.
True.
That's the silver lining I get.
Very true. My
And
concern is, though, who's going to get that funding? Like, we're talking about how women's health isn't very important in the eyes of our Canadian medical. So, like, who, like, where? Who's this 50 million? And who's going to be, when the research is done, do they have the therapists? Do they have the people who can actually do these things safely with people? I think there's a bit of a safety issue too with the way he's just signed it off, but that could just be my over.
no, it's not just you. It's according to most people that I see, they're like, love them or hate them. This is getting some eyeballs on psychedelics as medicine, and for help with PTSD and stuff like that. But for the most part, it seems like window dressing.
I
Like
think
there's
so.
an underground that, yeah, there's an underground that have been helping people for years that actually know what they're doing. Um, and are better suited to kind of help people on this path than whatever he's going to throw money at.
Well, that's my main concern. And as being Canadian, so I tried to look it up a bit, see what's going on around here and how our reaction to what's going down south. And all I could find
Mm.
was, I think we'll just sit back and watch. I know you found some information. I found a bit on where I could get some of these services, like um, apparently you can get ketamine here and psilocybin therapy, but it costs $2,000 to $6,000 to go through it.
Holy Hannah.
Yeah, so and like two is the cheap end of things. Now, if you're dealing with depression or PTSD and all that kind of stuff, where the hell are you going to find an extra $2,000 when you're just trying to feed yourself and your family and all that kind of stuff?
Here, I have the answer to that actually.
Okay.
For like, for instance, ketamine therapy is approved for PTSD and all that, which means Veterans Affairs Canada will cover it.
Okay, that's
Will
huge.
cover the treatment. So yeah, the veterans are not out of pocketing this. They can get the treatment and it's covered. But it's still, I don't want to say it's clinical trials, but it's still new. So there's rules around how much they can give them at what intervals and to see how people react to it before they can kind of just let it go and allow them to be a little bit more, I don't know, the word that is a normal small English word that I should be able to remember, specific for each person anyways, because
Right.
some people find it better if it's at this interval and some people are okay if it's once a month and some people need it once every 2 weeks or something like that. And they can't really play with that too much right now. Anyway, in New Brunswick anyways, it might be different elsewhere, but this is what we were told. So I think she said, because they do they do a thing where you swish it in your mouth, and then I guess there's like a nasal thing, and you just put it in your nose like a vapor, and then they do an IV. So I think the IV is $1,600 a session,
Wow. See, that
or
was
something
one
like
of the
that.
things here in Manitoba, like not being a veteran. Some, I believe they will pay for the therapist, but not for the product. There was something about that. I wish I had, unfortunately, my phone is on the fence. I had the information in there, so you'll have to bear with me. I'll
That's
add
okay.
it at the bottom if anybody needs it after. But
Yeah. Okay.
so sixteen
Um,
hundred dollars.
yeah. So if I wanted to do it, which I've been advised I want to do it, you need to
Right.
try this once so you know. For me to do it out of pocket, it would be $1,600 because even if I had an external health insurance, it's not something they would cover. So the only thing that covers it right now is Veterans Affairs.
Okay.
And psilocybin therapy, there's trials and stuff, but like if you guys have a clinic there, it is either specifically for this or they're doing something they probably shouldn't, because it's only for very specific cases. So the cancer cases and the end of life
Yeah.
treatments, that stuff, and they have to get approval from Health Canada before they can do it. So I remember when that first started, you couldn't get the mushrooms. Like they had to source the mushrooms themselves in order to get the treatment that they had to get approval to get. Like
Well,
The mechanics there exactly.
somebody on a palliative situation, when you've got to wait a year, that's, you know, it takes forever to get
Yeah,
some of that stuff through. So it's kind of,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
we
I
definitely need
know
to
that
do
they
some
were
fixing. Oh,
yeah, and I saw something on the news actually about a trial.
oh, good.
Um,
We just
then
had
there
some
was, I
cutting out
remember,
there. Sorry.
yeah. Oh, okay. Um, I need to move my internet. So like I have a mesh thing that's supposed to give me better internet, like across the house, and
Right.
it doesn't work so good sometimes. Um, but yeah, in Canada with the psilocybin therapy, I know there was a push a while back to get like these case by case approvals for the actual therapists so that they could try it and understand what it is that their patients or clients are experiencing. Because it's hard to be a psychedelic therapist if you've never
We've
taken
never done it.
psychedelics, I would
Yeah, it
think.
doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't
One
make
would
sense.
assume. Um, says here that MDMA therapy is, nah, there's some trials maybe going on, but that's it. So the only real approval is very case by case approval for psilocybin therapy and for the ketamine therapies. That's all we currently have access to. But we're working on it. There's come on now, advocacy group
Yeah.
all over, and there's more people joining the fight to try to get people
Yeah, I
excited.
realize I should be joining the fight a little bit more. I'm just doing a quick.
Bad at it. I free ball down there, but up here, not doing
Yeah.
much.
So ours, they have an MDMA assisted therapy, which would be interesting to do. Um, ooh, it sounds, from what I'm seeing, it sounds like they're giving all the wrong, saying that like this could cure this. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
And
yeah, yeah.
it doesn't. It's not a cure all for end all. I don't think anything is. So, but it does
No.
help for sure. So there we go. So we've got one MDMA one, a couple mushroom ones, and I think there's only one ketamine one. But I'm going to start looking into a little more legalization in Canada because we're really, like Jen was saying earlier, you know, we're kind of Jane of all trades. We're sort of stretched everywhere here. We're not professionals of everything. So now I'm realizing I don't know shit about what we're doing here in Canada. So it's something I should probably want to know if we're talking about
There's
it.
that. We're gonna have to post that meme. That'll be like our banner for today. I don't know shit about fuck. Who did not say that? No.
Oh, but that's pretty much what I'm thinking. You know, I got a little
I
bit
was,
of
yeah.
this, a little bit of
Your brain
that.
said that. Your mouth didn't. Yeah.
Okay,
And here I am. Get to
you
see the
translated
video of
well.
where I.
Pristine
Yeah, yeah.
translations. You know me too
Sometimes I
well.
can do it. Sometimes I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know. My brain tends to well, my brain typing and talking skills are all a little different. So you got to get to know all three of my personalities. Oh Lord.
Oh,
So,
I had
but yeah, so I'm
a
going to
swig of
spend a little more time looking into the legalization things around here because I don't think putting money into the research is a bad thing, but I think it should just be totally decriminalized. You know, it
yeah.
shouldn't be criminalized. So then the people could do the things they need to figure out. Because as humans, I think we're smart, pretty smart in general, and we should be able to take care of our own mental health, you know, and not count on doctors telling us we have mental health issues when we have physical issues, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Especially as a woman. Yeah, it's infuriating. You know what? I actually laughed. Um, our For those of you Americans listening, we have a liberal prime minister right now, And then we have our conservative guy who's trying with all his might to get into power, but he's basically a mini Cheeto, and we're not having it. Um, so he was on Joe Rogan not long ago, and
I
I forced
refuse to.
myself to sit through the whole thing to see how much nonsense he was going to spout. Because he, like, if you listen to that interview, you would think this guy is amazing and he would do amazing things for our country. And why on earth would people vote against him? And this is Joe's whole thing. He's like, this is common sense. Like, why would anybody be against you? It's like, because you look too far into it there, Joe. Like it's another one of those things where it's all window dressing, where it really sounds good on its face. Yeah, exactly. It sounds good, but if you look into the consequences of doing it that way, whether they're intentional or unintentional, or they're there and you're ignoring them, all the people that are going to be excited about whatever this thing is, it's going to bite them in the ass in 3-4 years. And people are not looking this 3-4 years down the line, like cut all of this and cut this tax and cut this permit thing and cut this and cut that. And everybody's like, yay, I don't have to spend as much money. It's like, yeah, but the money from those goes to pay for these things that you're going to need in 2 years. And in 2 years, you're going to be mad when you figure that out. Right.
Yeah. Especially with our medical. Yeah.
What's that?
Especially when it comes to our medical, like our hospitals are going to crap, or doctors, we can't keep doctors. And if you start getting more taxes, that's just going to get worse and worse and worse.
Well, yeah, if you don't have any money to pay anybody, But where I was going with that was, Joe asked him if he knew what ibogaine was. And he said, no, I have no idea. So Joe went on his spiel, because this is near and dear to his heart, right? He knows people it's helped, and it's a great thing if, you're not worried about whatever the side effects are. If you're healthy enough to go through this process, it can really help a lot of people. And he was like, oh, really? I should have a look at that when I get back home and all this stuff. So it's one of those things where I wonder if he's going to like use something like that to be like, now my platform is psychedelic therapy.
Yeah, I can see that totally, because like he does.
That'll get him the vote, maybe.
He follows suit of what Trump is doing. So, like, I'm pretty sure he just takes the flashlight.
I hope he does it. And the reason being is because our current prime minister, while he is a liberal, he's only kind of a liberal. Like when it comes to some things, he's more of a middle of the road, or like an old school conservative before like Maple MAGA took over and, the right wing went so far right, like regular conservatives, the way they used to be. He's more in line with them than he is like the far left or anything. So he's like middle of the road. He would totally be like, oh, good idea. And he would just do it, even if it's, this guy's running it on his platform, like, oh, that's a good idea. We should probably do that.
Yeah.
Completely snake it right out from under him. And I'm for it. I'm here for it.
I hope it brings some good to our world. And if it can, well, I saw somebody who had made a post, and they are a supporter of the guy down south, and they were super excited about it. And so knowing that person is very into the church, it might open up a little bit more in that aspect too. It's some of these hardcore Christians to realize that, psychedelics aren't against your Bible.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just sort of my thought.
Yeah. I've seen some, there was some videos actually where they had taken some leaders from different religions and gave them psychedelics and then interviewed them after.
Can we watch
And
that and talk about it? No.
I have to find it, but it was basically like, regardless of the religion, they were like, this isn't a bad thing. This isn't like, it made them more spiritual. It made them believe more in what they already believed,
Right.
which, it kind of reseated them back into their faith, where a lot of people would think it's the opposite. It gave them more faith, which was really kind of cool. I'll see if I can track it down
Yeah,
for
I'd
you
be
and
curious
send it.
about that one. I'd love to watch that. What else were we talking a little bit about that? And if anybody has any comments about what's going on down south, obviously we're up here north of the border, so we're going by what we can find online, which honestly wasn't a lot, really.
Yeah, we have news is blocked from us on Facebook. Like, we can't see any news on Facebook. We can see the odd I think I found it trying to figure out TikTok the other day. I'm like, how does this app even work? Oh, really? Okay, cool. Like,
Yeah, which is, in a sense, I was sort of excited about when they took off the news, but now it's all the conspiracies I'm seeing. So I'm not even getting, the local news or what's going on, in my neighborhood or down the road in New Brunswick, but I'm hearing more about what's going on down south than I do what's going on across Canada
yeah.
because of the news blockage, I assume. But that's
It's
another.
weird. I'd have to read it again, because I was debating it online with somebody, and this person usually, like, reads right into things. So I was like, I'm not going to push back any further until I read into it. But when it first happened, the whole news thing, I actually read the bill. I read it twice, the whole friggin' thing.
Yeah.
So the whole point of it originally
Pardon me.
was that our they didn't want our news being hand fed to us by a foreign entity, which makes sense, right? Um,
But it
the
didn't
way
work.
that yeah, yeah, but they didn't want, like, our local news. So, um, is it CRTC we have here?
Yes.
They're the ones that run, like, the broadcasting and what you are and aren't allowed, or what you have to do to be an official broadcaster in Canada. You have to have a certain amount of local content, a certain amount of national content, English content, French content, and Indigenous content. So there's a very strict ratio of things that you have to adhere to in order to be a broadcast entity in Canada. It's making sure that the news that we need to know is available out there. So what they wanted to do is force us to go to the broadcaster's own site or app or whatever, so that we get all of that instead of whatever Meta's hand feeding us, right? That was the idea. And then Facebook banned all news. Didn't matter where it come from.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
Somebody later told me it was a fee thing and somebody has to pay somebody to be able to do something. I don't know. That part I didn't read, but the original bill itself at the time was just to make it so we had to go to the source to get the news. And then everything went sideways after that, because I don't know.
I don't know.
Whoever
All I
did
know,
whatever. Yeah. Now we can't see news, so whenever you guys are posting interesting stuff, we can't see it. You have to screenshot it.
I know. Well, thanks. Little shout out to No Meme. They seem to know. They just automatically put it in for me. Somebody goes through and puts it in the comments,
Yeah.
and then half the time I'm like, I didn't want to know anyways. Keep me in my little bubble here in Manitoba.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Find
center
me
of the.
some news. It's like, oh, I don't want to see that.
No, no, I didn't even. I was gonna listen this morning to get prepped for this, and I couldn't even do the soft news this morning. I was just like, no,
No,
it's not a news
no.
day.
I
So
I got as far as seeing the headlines and like, guess what he did? I'm like, okay, well, let's and we checked with the ladies to get some opinions, and so far the opinions are pretty consistent on it's going to make zero difference to anything that we're doing. It's something they're doing up there with whatever, and nobody on the front lines is going to notice any bit of difference whatsoever. We don't think, anyway, other than having eyeballs on the topic.
One of my favorite quote was, "Just release the files." Sorry. It's just a smokescreen, really, is what we're here. But
it's very interesting. I'm glad you did that. Now release the files.
yeah, very interesting. And that was, I guess we can say who it was. Hey, Squigs. She had my favorite comment. Yeah.
For sure.
I was just going to do a quick look here and see what some of them were.
What are your thoughts? Oh. We did a poll. 1 vote is it's bad, and 8 votes it's complicated.
I couldn't. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. So it's complicated. I guess we can pretty much end with that.
What's your relationship status with this news? It's complicated.
Yeah, lots of I'm with so and so. I want to celebrate, but I do not trust, nor will I ever. People baffled by whether focusing on ibogaine. That's how you say it, ibogaine. I don't know how to say it. Sorry,
ibogaine.
Yeah, so I don't think people are as freaking excited as the man would think they would be, I guess. I figure figured he'd get a few more back. I don't know. But yeah, and Big Pharma's going to step in, which is going to take
one of
care
the
of
things.
everything. And it's going to be taxed as shit. We know that. So
there was that thing I watched on Double Blind the other day. They talked about that a lot, about how it's just going to change how things, and it was before this announcement, so it wasn't even about the announcement. They were just talking about it becoming more mainstream in the government sense. So it'd be like similar to when weed legalized up here. We had it medically for quite a while, and there was so much cannabis in our mail system, it wasn't even funny.
Still is. It's still flying.
It still
around.
Is. Yeah, the amount of stuff our postal system would just make your head spin. But they gave the ability for each province to do it however they wanted. And of course, in my province, they messed it all up. So liquor in my province, we have something called NB liquor. So people are not allowed to make and sell booze, which is pretty standard in most places. So they have like a government agency that sells the booze, and you have to go into one of these government stores to buy the liquor. So they decided in my province that was a good way to launch the cannabis industry. So here we have it. There's a lot of farmland where I am. It's an okay climate,
right,
for Canada. There's tons of growers. There's always been tons of growers. So like they're just chomping at the bit because we know it's getting legalized. It's about to be legalized for recreational. And there's all these little stores that keep getting shut down that would like to just be legal for once instead of, constantly being raided and whatever. So they're so excited, like, oh my gosh, this is legal or it's about to be legal for recreation. And then they came out with NB cannabis. So you cannot have a store and sell only the government can. We're like, you're missing out on because the whole thing was you're going to tax people and tax their cannabis. So now we're going to have more money in taxes to be able to fix the place up. But when they did that, like the whole thing just went sideways. So,
So
the only way, yeah.
ours was a little different. Okay, ours was quite different. They let the mom and pop stores open up. Um, but there was, of course, like 2 or 3 companies that are like the Walmart of weed, where they got all the investors and this and that. And those poor mom and pops originally had to spend, just to get going, this is before anything, was $100,000. So, you still needed your investors or at least backup or family,
Yeah.
But last I heard, we had more marijuana stores than Tim Hortons.
And that's not, for those of you in America or the United States,
Yeah.
that's a big thing.
That's like, last I heard there was 270 some odd in Manitoba. Now, I haven't looked this up in over a year, so it's got to be more now. They did lower that prices, the tax prices, but those bigger ones definitely ran out a lot of the smaller ones. Works out good for our small little towns. You're not allowed, like, our liquor stores are provincial, but our weed stores aren't. But they have some of the same rules. Like, you can't have 2 liquor stores next to each other. You have to be so many miles apart. So they've done the same thing with the weed, which made it a little more difficult in our big city because it's not a huge city. But every little small town now pretty much has a pot store. Even if it's just like a nameplate, they have a pot store.
Yeah.
Like my little Sed's corner, there's like 200 people there maybe. There's a pot store. There's no corner store. Oh, wait, they did just open a corner store. But there's a pot store. So, but with the psychedelics, like, I'm thinking that the weed stores are kind of starting to sneak in some microdoses here and there. So, I'd be kind of hopeful that maybe it'll slip through. We did have a store open up in our big city. It was there for 4 days. They charged $300 an ounce of mushrooms. I probably just triggered something. You're going to realize it if you listen. Somebody just walked into. So $300. But I think what they were doing was raising money so they could get the lawyers in to start getting this to legalize here in Manitoba. But, I haven't seen it yet. And that was about 3 years ago. So.
Okay. What I'm seeing here, and I don't know enough to get deeply into the rules and the laws things, but a lot of people are trying to lean heavily into treaty law and get into the original treaty laws for the Indigenous communities, and where it basically says they can do this regardless of whatever Canadian law you come up with, because that's what was agreed to. And from my understanding, and again, I have no idea what I'm talking about, it's just kind of what I heard, the Indigenous communities are allowed to sell anything that they can gather themselves, right? So they can grow and gather their own tobacco. So they're allowed to sell it on the res specifically.
Right.
Off the res is where it kind of gets a little shifty, because there's one store that's Indigenous owned, but they're getting raided constantly. But they keep opening back. So I'm thinking that they're going to court and they're saying treaty law, right?
Right.
And then they just back to business as normal. But it's a huge pain in the ass, right? Because they have to go through that constantly. But on the res, Like I can literally walk into a store and it's lined with fungi.
Yeah, we
And
don't have that here.
it breaks my heart a little bit though, because I go in there and it's just jars that they keep opening and closing. And they're everything's bendy and I'm like, oh my friggin' nerves. And then they're like, this is was it these are peanuts. So they're way more. I'm like, no, they're not.
Yeah.
I promise you they're not.
Well, we should
But
probably
yeah,
have somebody on from Vancouver on right now because they're the ones that seem to be able to keep the stores going. There's always something going
yeah,
on.
they've got the tricks. Yeah, I would like to. Well, we're going to do another one that's fully about um, decriminalization and those efforts and the activism and stuff, and get some people to guest star with us that know what they're talking about. They're boots on the ground, just getting this stuff situated.
What's oh, might have a box unveiling. Oh, can we? Nope, we can't.
No, why not?
No,
What
it's
is
my
it? Is it
books.
in the good? Oh, okay. Yeah, no.
No.
At a later time.
Okay. So,
At a later
well,
time, we'll do that one. But yeah, we'll do another episode with people that are boots on the ground trying to get laws changed locally that hopefully will spread out, and we'll see if we can't get some Canadian ones in too to see what's happening up here.
so to anyone listening right now, reach out to us if you do have those boots on the ground. We want to hear from you.
Yes, for sure. For sure. We want to help get the word out as much as we can, because obviously this is something that's pretty near and dear to our hearts, and a lot of the people that we talk to on a daily basis, we're all pretty much on the same page with this and see a lot of need for it. So as much as we can, as much as we can. And yeah, for sure. Don't forget to and I'm going to do the thing. And so like Chris said at the beginning, this is completely out of our comfort zone. This videos and talking and things and stuff. But apparently I have to learn how to put the little thing at the end of the video that says like and subscribe. Make a comment. Help us be seen by the algorithms. So I'm going to say that for now. And then
I'm going
later
to
I'm going to
repeat
figure
it.
do
Like, follow, do the things. We shouldn't have to tell you.
it.
We love you.
No, love you. Thank you for hanging out with us today, and we will see you next week.
Love y'all. Okay, on that note.